has vowed to stand against President-elect Donald Trump's deportation move at state level. Taiwo James Ayeniri, you are welcome to News Analysis today. In this news video, President-elect Donald Trump further threatens against illegal immigrants. However, at state level, this particular agency has vowed to oppose every step of his.
Starting with the criminals, and we got to do it. And then we're starting with others, and we're going to see how it goes.
Initially, it was pitched as a plan to send back criminals. But now Trump's campaign promised to carry out the largest deportation of undocumented immigrants in U.S. history. That has broadened to possibly include American citizens who live with undocumented family members.
I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together, and you have to send them all back.
As Trump prepares to fulfill those promises, advocacy groups are also preparing to fight him. And at the forefront is the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, which successfully delayed the implementation of Trump's Muslim ban during his first term in office and helped end his administration's practice of separating migrant families. With less than a month before Inauguration Day, the ACLU says it's ready. Joining me now is Deirdre Stiefling, ACLU's Chief Political and Advocacy Officer. It is great to have you here. Tell us something good. Deirdre, first of all, the talk of immigration. Trump is prepared for the largest deportation, or is preparing for the largest deportation operation in American history. And I wonder kind of how you guys are thinking about a battle which could be one of epic proportions. How are you preparing?
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here to talk about this. Yes, Trump starts talking about criminals and then immediately moves to talking about deporting 20 million people, which is, in fact, double the estimated number of people who are actually undocumented in our country. And the ACLU has been preparing on three fronts. First, of course, our litigation front. Yeah. And I just want to remind you that during Trump's first administration, the ACLU filed more than 400 legal actions against the Trump administration and was successful in many of them, even arguing before Trump appointed judges. So we are confident in our litigation team's prowess and ability to meet this moment. Second is what we're calling our Firewall for Freedom. And this is an effort that we are doing with our affiliates. The ACLU has an affiliate in every single state in this country. And those affiliates have close relationships with their governors, their attorneys general, the legislatures, the mayors in cities. So we've been working together to build out a firewall to protect people's rights and liberties at the state and city level. And then finally, there are our millions of grassroots supporters all across the country. We've been holding trainings. We have hundreds and hundreds of people coming to these weekly trainings to learn about what we can anticipate from a Trump administration and start to get ready to fight back.
Can you talk a little bit about the states and the firewall? What is it, the firewalls of freedom? What does that mean when you guys say you're partnering with states? I'm assuming most of them are blue states or blue state representatives, mayors, governors.
We could see that when asked about families living with undocumented immigrants, or referred to as illegal immigrants, President-elect Donald Trump said in that interview that he didn't like separating families, as he would not want any family to be apart. So his remedy would be that all of them, both the family and the illegal immigrants, would be sent packing.
Is that advising them on how to create bulwarks against Trump's most draconian policies, or what does that mean on a practical level?
Exactly. So on a practical level, it's giving them the tools that they need to resist, to say, no, our state or our city's resources are not going to be used to carry out your undemocratic political plan, whatever it may be, to violate people's rights. States do not have an obligation to take their state resources, whether it be police or National Guard or proprietary personal information about their residents, and use it in service of Trump's political agenda. They are under no obligation to do that, and we're helping them have the tools to not do that.
States' rights is now a liberal cause. I do wonder, you mentioned that the ACLU has had success arguing its cases before even Trump's appointed judges. How are you guys thinking about the Supreme Court, where so many of these high-profile pieces of litigation end up, now that there's a strong conservative majority on the court and they seem to have handed Trump some very real wins this year? I mean, how are you looking at that as the final, end game to a lot of this?
Yes. Well, first, I'll just remind you that hardly any cases go to the Supreme Court. Okay. It's less than 1% of all legal cases that are heard across our judiciary system go to the Supreme Court. So many, many, many cases are decided in lower courts. But yes, the Supreme Court does have a mixed record. And, I think we've really seen in the aftermath of the Dobbs decision a real...
It would be one of the biggest in the history of America. And also, from their point of view, this particular agency, they seem to believe that President-elect Donald Trump is going to be infringing on people's rights, citizens' rights, and they are ready to use the state's resources for opposing President-elect Donald Trump's policy. Now some people are arguing that it's not that President-elect Donald Trump wants to send people packing, people leaving. As we can see in the video, we have some persons going through going through the borders already, crossing from USA to Canada and other neighboring countries. However, this is not so rampant yet, actually. Also, one thing to consider as it is presently is that President-elect Donald Trump, according to him, is trying to ensure that the resources in the United States of America is well managed, according to him. Now, with all this going on, as we approach President-elect Donald Trump's transition into power again,